I'm now going to give the floor to Kirk for just a couple of minutes before we come to some questions. Kirk.
Thank you. Well, let me start by saying that I really feel a bit of kinship with Brian and Kelly. I understand where they're coming from. I used to think just like they think. I used to be an atheist. I believed what they believed, and I blindly believed what my science teachers told me in school because I figured, well, they were a lot smarter than I was, so what they say must be true. There wouldn't be a hidden agenda there. I had faith in what they said. But the problem was I never really took the time to look into the evidence myself, do the research, and actually see if the claims that they were making were true. You see, when I was on Growing Pains, I was 17 years old. I was at the height of the success of the show, and I had the world by the tail. I was making lots of cash. I was really famous. I was doing everything I wanted. There was nothing that was holding me back. I had everything. I did not need God. There was no motivation for me to want to believe in any kind of a fairy tale. But I was highly interested in the subject because I knew that 10 out of 10 people die, and I knew that one day I would die and I would find out the truth about whether or not there was a God. And I wondered about this. And so I decided, if there was a God who had given me my life and everything I held dear to me, and all I had given him was my rebellion, my attitude, my sarcasm, and my unbelief, all of my money and fame and popularity that impressed others wouldn't help me one bit on that day. And I decided I wanted to get to the bottom of the issue. And so I started researching it. I started checking out the evidence. I put my own career at risk. My only motivation was to want to know the truth. So one day I was in my sports car, pulled off to the side of the road, and I said, God, if you're there, I want to know. I've never prayed before. If you're real, please show me. I don't want to believe in a fairy tale. I don't want to commit intellectual suicide, but I want to know the truth. And I opened my eyes. It wasn't like I saw a vision. I didn't hear voices. Jesus wasn't on the windshield. The Holy Spirit didn't rush in through the air conditioning vents and blow my hair back. But I had this sense that something had clearly changed in my attitude, and I had humbled myself before the possibility of an all-powerful God who perhaps created me. And there was a change in my heart. I began reading the Bible, which was once dead letter to me, made no sense to me, came to life and spoke to me in an extremely powerful way. I began going to church, learning more about this God of the Bible. God began transforming me on the inside. I began to love the God I once mocked in sarcasm, and I began to really despise and hate the sin that I once loved and enjoyed so much. This wasn't a change I was trying to produce in myself. And as I began to study more deeply the issues of science and history and the Bible and look into the questions and objections that you're hearing today, I found that all the evidence points to support my decision to trust and believe in the living God. Before this debate, Brian and I had a chance to talk on the phone. I called and we just talked about a couple of details, and I ended the phone conversation by saying, Brian, don't worry about anything. I'll be praying for you. And Brian laughed, and Brian said, that's it, Kurt. You pray for me, I'll think for you. And I thought, I said, you know what? He's right on, man. Think. That's a really good idea today. Think carefully. This is so important. Please don't look at this as simply a debate to see who's going to win a theological discussion here. Look at this as an opportunity to help you make a personal decision about what you will believe about God. Because when you personalize this, realizing that one day you too will die and find out if what Ray and I are saying is the gospel truth, suddenly the stakes could not be higher.
Kirk, you're running out of time, so I need you just to wrap up.
This is simply a wake-up call. Don't sit on the sidelines. You have stakes in this debate. What you believe about God will determine where you spend eternity. So think and listen carefully. Thank you very much.